Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to our NEXAT live stream. The hottest stuff in Farm Sim 25 since, well, Farm Sim 25 was released, in my opinion. Tonight, we're going to be taking a look at the NEXAT Pack and everything that is included with it. We're also going to be exploring, can you use the NEXAT Pack on the 3 base maps? Well, spoiler alert, yes you can. And we're going to navigate around. If you hadn't seen my first look video, that's fine, because we're going to cover everything that's in that video during this live stream. Plus, we're going to be here to answer any questions you might have. But here we have it. The NEXAT. We are in transport mode, road mode, folded up, and ready to go. We have our harvest module. We have our Gearinghoff grain header, 50-foot header, and our carrier module. We answered in the first look video, will it fit on the barge? Yes, it will. It will fit on the ferry. The engines are within the main arm of this chassis. So there's one engine here, there's the exhaust port, and there's another engine over here. So it's dual engined. 1100 horsepower. What's up, David? And it fits on the barge. If we were lined up. I said during my first look video, this thing is the most awkward and agile thing I've ever driven at the same time. Because, well, you can see how the wheels turn. It does have some alternate steering modes. We'll demonstrate those here in a little bit. What's up, Quantum? I do have pinned in chat a link to the Giant Tea Shop. Anybody that wants to pre-order this, if you've not already pre-ordered it, you can do so with that link. That link is going to be available for PC players, though. If you're on console, you'll have to get it from your respected platforms. There might be in real life, but not in the game. This is probably the widest configuration with the grain header. And then with the cab out front, it really is kind of an interesting experience driving it in first-person view. Oh, I did a better job this time in not knocking over those signs. Thank you, Quantum. Thank you very much. I think we're going to have to cheat this corner. I could have went up through that road, but I didn't think I could make that entrance. Like I said, it will take a little bit of practice because when you turn, the whole thing shifts left and right. But it is possible, right? We don't need giant, wide roads, big open areas. We can swing this thing around. Possibly even more, possibly even a better turning radius than some traditional machines. It's the belts. It's the belt squeak, right? Alright, so let's watch this thing unfold, because this thing is a hoot when you unfold it. So we're going to come up here, we're going to hit X to enable work mode. So it raises up, puts a little foot down, drops the machine down on the foot, rotates the tires around, and then the foot raises up, cab swings around, and there we go. Now we're ready to rock and roll. We also have different steering modes in work mode. So this is rear steer. You see it swings one wheel out almost 90 degrees and basically spins around on that. And then we have all-wheel steering, where it swings both wheels and kind of rotates around those. Really tight turning radius. What's up, Road King? And then we have front steer, which is just like rear steer, except the front wheel rotates around. I think I'm going to go with all-wheel steering. Right, we're going to line it up, lower it down, turn it on. Right, you hear that belt squeak. So we have lots of various animations going on. The way this harvester module works, right? It brings everything in this central chute, and then crop goes either left or right. So there are two basically areas where the grain gets harvested, left or right. We have one central grain store, and then our chaff comes out two different spots on the rear, which also means that we get two different straw swaths, if you will. There you go. These things hold 30,000 liters worth of crop. Well, Walter, I hope it would, given that this is an official representation of the NEXAT, and I never used the mod in 22, but that was just a, you know, it's just a mod. I don't know if they had, you know, official support from the company or anything like that, or just built it because they knew it was going to be a fan favorite. So let me get turned around, and then I'm going to show you an infographic. Same infographic that was on Giants' blog post today. I used that in my video that I also released this morning around how these things interconnect to each other. All right, so here is the infographic. And the way this all works is, of course, you have your carrier module, and everything attaches to this carrier module. So you have the sprayer and fertilizer module, and it just connects directly to our carrier. You have your your slurry tank and your applicator. They attach together on the carrier. You have the seed hopper and a planter, or the seed hopper and a seeder, or the seed hopper and the cultivator and the planter, or the seeder right below that. So you could cultivate and plant in one pass, as well as seed and fertilize. And then you have the harvesting module. You have two different gearing off headers, one for grains, one for sunflower and corn. And then you have a weeder that attaches to the steering, or the seed module, which of course attaches to the carrier frame. So let's look at this stuff in the shop. We're gonna go mods and DLCs, NEXAT Pack. Right, so the carrier is going to be a whopping $655,000. But we're going to be able to seed, plant, fertilize, cultivate, and weed all with this one piece of machinery, all about 15 meters worth of working with. We have options to change tires, Trelleborg, Michelin, BKT. That's pretty much it. Then we have the slurry module, $375,000, nearly $376,000. Digestate, slurry, 30,000 liter capacity. So this connects to the carrier. And then the Evers Toric NX 1400. This is the slurry applicator cultivator, right? It's going to cultivate too. This then attaches to the slurry module, which is already attached to the carrier. That's nearly $200,000 there. We have the seed hopper. It's going to have seed and fertilizer. Depending on your planter or seeder configuration, it's going to hold a different amount of seed and a different amount of fertilizer, but ultimately it's always going to add up to 20,500 liters. This is going to connect to our carrier module. And then we have the carrier NX. This is going to be cultivator, 14 meter cultivator. This is going to attach to the seed hopper, which is attached to, obviously, the carrier module, 188,000. Then we have the seeder, the Inspire NX, and the Tempo NX, that is the planter, 13.5 meter working width. Both of these, or either of these, will attach to the seed hopper, which can have the cultivator attached to it, right? So you can cultivate and plant, or you can cultivate and seed. Or you could just plant or seed without the cultivator, or you could cultivate without the planter or seed, right? It's endless combinations here. We've got the ChopStar Max. This is going to be your hoe, your weeder, 13.5 meters. It's going to once again also connect to the seed hopper, because if we go to combinations, right there you can see the different combinations that the seed hopper has. It will connect to the NEXAT Pack, and the Carrier, Inspire, Tempo, and ChopStar all connect to it. Then we have the sprayer, liquid fertilizer and herbicide. 56 meter boom width on this thing, 22,000 liters. It connects directly to the carrier module. Then you have the harvesting module. We've got that right now. 32,500 liters worth of grain capacity. It does have some tires here on the front to help support this long intake neck. Trelleborg tires, Vertestein tires are going to be your options there. That's $318,000. And then we have the two Gearinghoff headers, $144,500 for this 15.2 meter or 50 foot grain header for traditional grains, or a 15.2 meter 50 foot corn or sunflower header. And this one we can actually change colors on if we want to. There you go. And they are $144,000, $182,000 respectively. That's the NEXAT Pack. Surprisingly agile, surprisingly tight turning radius, And we can left mouse button. We can of course raise and lower and adjust our boom arm, right? Not our boom arm, but our intake windrow and our intake reel. But we can also left and right mouse click, and we can modify our operator position. We can't go up or down, but we can go left or right. So, I mean, you know, you can get to where you are happy with the overall viewing angle. I mean, you know, it's quite a distance out there to the other side. There you go. I mean, that'll work, right? Then if you want to swing it closer or swing it a little bit further out, yeah, whatever fits your fancy. Since it doesn't have a steering wheel, right, it's very open. Because you steer with the left joystick. Now you can use GPS. Easy enough. So you could use this. Now, the only thing I know that is a little bit of a weird issue is that the sprayer module apparently doesn't like GPS very much because of how you have to straddle things in order for it to work. Virtual Farmer gave some hints in the partner Discord on how to configure it up. Basically, you have to shift the center line over halfway so that then you're going down the right tracks. But for me, 56 meter spray width, I just do it myself. Right? You're gonna be done. Like the field that I did in the first look video was literally an up and a down pass, and I was done. There you go, right? You get to the end, you flip it around, and you go back. Surprisingly, a very good turning radius for something that is so darn big. And while we're making our way down there, I want to show you, in the shop, you're going to want to do things that's going to make it a lot easier for you to hook up. So, for example, we're going to want to buy this cultivator first. Then you're going to want to buy a seating module. Then you're going to want to buy the seed hopper. And the reason you want to do that is because when you come up here to connect all those things, you're going to be able to connect the seed hopper, the planter, seeder, and then the cultivator all in one row. Right? You're not going to have to try to maneuver this thing around in order to connect the things. So it's important to understand what order things need to be connected to and what needs to connect to what, so that ultimately in the end, you know, you're going to make your job a whole lot easier when you're trying to get connected to these things. I mean, Earl, you can pretty much hire a helper on anything other than, without too much hassle, other than seeding. Not seeding, but spraying. Spraying is a little weird because of its working width is like 1.5 on either side. Right? I don't know if I can really describe it right. But if you just try to program it, it's not going to run you down the right tracks. You have to set an offset up so that it shifts the whole track, and then it will, in essence, work. I'm never good with offsets. If I have to do an offset, I'm just going to work manually. I haven't spent the time to just hire a helper and leave, because quite frankly, hired helpers are slower at the job than if you just did it yourself. I firmly believe that. We're using all steer, but of course we could change that to rear steer, which is the default work mode, where just the rear wheel kicks out. And you don't have to leave a swath, right? You could just spray it out the back if you wanted to, and it's going to come out those two chutes. So let me finish this field, and then I'm going to buy another of these NEXATs. Of course, you wouldn't have a NEXAT for every configuration, but it's just going to be a lot faster than trying to drive this thing back to the shop. And I'll show you hooking up the cultivator, the seed hopper, the planter, or seeder all together. I'm really impressed with the pack. I really like it. Right, like this is going to conform to the ground real well. You see how the header is basically 3 sections. So here we have rear steer. It kicks that rear out. And let's completely mess up the hookup on this, and I'll show you the lines, and I'll show you the auto hookup mode. Right, that's pretty cool, because if you have difficulty getting things lined up, you can just get generally close and hold the O button, and it will just auto connect. I agree, Tukey. I agree. Like I said in my announcement video, when I learned that the NEXAT Pack was going to be the first DLC in the Year 1 Season Pass, I did have a literal jaw-dropping moment, and I literally said, holy shit. In my office at work, when I learned about it, I said, holy shit. Like this is what people were screaming for and begging for toward the end of 19. I think when the NEXAT was kind of first coming on as a thing. And, you know, people wanted it in 22. And then I guess it met some interesting folks who were frustrated with it or didn't like that it was coming. And it was like what? I thought everyone loved this and wanted this, and now there's hate. And I think some of this hate is just like you can't please everyone all the time. So when they get something they actually want, then they suddenly don't like it. So let's come out here at this completely wrong. And you're gonna have to help me, because I honestly have a hard time seeing these red lines. Right, here we are. We're coming at it completely wrong. Are there red lines? I don't see them. Let's go back at it. Actually, it might be. If these lines don't pop up, I know probably what it is. Alright, yeah, I know what it is. Alright, let me take something out. Be right back. There you go. Look, all right. Right. Now let me get kind of all messed up. All right, so we got red lines. They're all crossing. They're like, oh, this is all messed up, dude. Like, this point needs to go over there. This point needs to go over there. Like, you know, you're backwards, right? Oh, I didn't realize I was coming at it backwards. All right, there we go. But we're not quite lined up, but we're close. I'm gonna hold the O button for automatically hook me up. See, it's turning. It's getting itself lined up. It'll get there. It's backing up on its own. Alright, well, at any rate, you get the point, right? I don't know why it's being a little freaky here. Let's go to shop. All right. So remember, we bought these in a specific order for a specific reason. What you're going to connect last, you got to buy first. So this is going to go on the front of the whole contraption. This is going to mount under this, and this, of course, connects to this. So you buy the chassis last, always. Line her up in road mode, what I call road mode, transport mode, whatever. And then we hit X. It raises the whole chassis up a little bit, drops a foot, rotates it down, and then raises it back up, raises the cab, flips it around, and we're just going to hold down O. I'm just holding O. It dropped it, and we're going to hit Q. Okay? We're going to drive forward, and now I'm just going to hold O. I'm going to hit Q. I hold O, but it doesn't have any lines yet, right? So that won't work. We have lines, we hold O, and it just eases itself up. There we go. Connect her together, fold her up. And now we're off to the races, right? And we can see we have 2,500 liters worth of seed, 18,000 liters worth of solid fertilizer. With the tempo, with the Inspire, it's 4,500 liters worth of seed and 13,500 liters worth of fertilizer. So I'm just going to add things manually here. And there we go. The tank is where the seed is stored. You can't seed without the tank. Right. There we go. We're getting around tight spaces. So we can attach the seed unit and the cultivator. We could attach the seed unit and the planter and the cultivator, or the seed unit, the seeder, and the cultivator, or the seed unit and the cultivator. And once we're where we need to go, we're going to unfold it. Right? Go back into regular mode, work mode. Let's hire a helper and see what happens. What's up, Rabbit Rob? Thank you for your 45-month membership. We're, of course, not lined up right. It's having a conniption because I wasn't lined up right. Oh, is it doing the inside first? Oh, okay. There you go. All right, let's jump over to, let's do a little Hootan. Did a little Hootan Pan Thai, right? Let's see what kind of fun we can get into. I think one of these scripts is probably messing up with those lines, because I don't have that many scripts in my testing folder. Hootan Pantai's got some pretty big fields here in the flat, right? It wouldn't be too terrible bad, and I mean, you wouldn't hopefully be driving in here around these tight roads, but we've kind of demonstrated it does get around pretty good. All right, let's check. All right, the shop's right there. What's 4? 4's that. All right, let's buy 4. And let's get the slurry module. All right, so we need to get the torque first. We need to get our tanker next. And we need to get our carrier module last. I'm just going to hold O. Grump, this was not a mod in 22. There was a mod that did something similar to this, but it was not this. This is officially licensed NEXAT from the manufacturer to Giants. I would say what we had in 22 was a impersonation, I guess. But oops. There we go. All right, now we'll fold it back up. Oh, wrong button. Look, Grump, if you think I shill for giants, then you've got the wrong fucking idea, all right? I complain enough about what they do. No, we don't want to take that turn. Alright, is this already? This is. Alright, that's fine. Cultivated, none. And there we go. Okay. So let's use our slurry. So we do have the ability to do our double fertilization, right? So we'll dump twice as much down, half as fast, and as a result, you know, we're only going to need to do this once. Double application rate is available to us. But we can just turn this thing on, drop her down, and off to the races we go. So we'll drop her down. Let's do our headlands first, right? Are you happy? Where do you want to go now? Alright, so here, Grump, since I shill so much, I sent Giants a scathing message earlier this week, basically saying that I'd like to understand why some things are content updates. Like the fact that we got a content update that include 2 tractors that I doubt anyone cares about, and 2 front loaders that I doubt anyone cares about. And then for a mod drop, we had a map that was 1.3 gigs with things in it that we would, if we had it as a content update, be able to use across all game saves. And then we had the Volvo pack drop as a mod. So for PC players that have unlimited mod space, it's not a problem. What do we care if we have 8 gigs of mods or 50 gigs of mods? We have unlimited mod space. But for console players, they don't. So the fact that it wasn't a content update means that now console players have to make very real decisions as to what gets added. If I was a shill for Giants, I'd say, oh, well, I don't care. Doesn't really matter to me. No, I think it's a crap story. I think consoles are getting the shit end of the block. So that's what I told Giants. So if that's shilling, oh, well, I guess that's me. How about earlier today? I sent him a message and said, is it true that in order to change the growth schedule of a map, you have to have a script? Because if that's the case, then that means that no console player can ever have a growth schedule other than this. And I think that's a pretty bum rap. Well, what I found out is actually that is a bug that's being fixed in a future patch, or an upcoming patch, probably the next patch. So that wasn't that big of a deal. But still, I just don't take everything they say as gospel. Giants is the greatest thing ever. Everyone bow down to them. Let's lick their ass. No. So don't be calling me a fucking shill. Alright? If you don't like the game, don't buy it. Don't watch the stream. I'll help you out. Plenty of other people like it. Plenty. I think they all should be added as content updates. I do. Oh, it's having fun doing this turn. But it's doing it. Right? It's doing it. So I think the Volvo pack should have been a content update. I think Silver and Forest should have been a content update. I could care absolutely less about the horse aggravation map. Some people apparently like it. That's fine. At least it's a mod map. You can add it. You can not add it. It's available now for mappers to use to get other assets and things. But yeah, all these Giant patches, I think they could be rolled in as content updates, which is why I asked Giants. Help me understand why some things are content updates and some things aren't. Because then I can voice to those that also are curious why some things are content updates and why some things aren't. Because the more you know, the more informed you are, the better everybody's going to be. And I'm pretty sure why they weren't in the base game is because they weren't ready. So unlike FS 17, 19, 22, a lot of the things carried forward from one version of the game to the next. Right? Like, I can't tell you how old that quad track we used to have is, or was. Right? Because we had the quad track probably since 17 with very minimal updates. But we have a whole new quad track in 25. Why? Well, one, Case released a completely new model. Two, Giants changed how they do wheels on vehicles. Giants changed how they do lights on vehicles. And Giants changed everything there has to be with respect to the paint and the materials, because we have reflections now, we have different wears patterns than we had before. So Giants had to basically rework every vehicle and every implement that's in the game. And I think there's just only so much time in the day, and there's only so many staff to do that work, that they couldn't ship with everything that was previous. So we get things trickled in. We've had things trickled in from every previous farm sim as well, right? They released farm sim giant mods for 22, for 19, for 17. For as long as there's been a mod hub, there's been giant mods on it. I also think that to some degree they were limited by install space because they ship on physical disc. I don't know how many discs Call of Duty would be on if it shipped on a physical disc, right? But this game is available on physical disc. On PC, it ships on 2 DVDs. I don't know how many discs it ships on console. My guess would be 2. Unless consoles are Blu-ray discs instead of DVDs. But to some degree, you know, you can only ship so many discs before it becomes cost ineffective. So I feel that part of the install space is a limit of the physical disc. So if Giants would go to a full digital distribution, then it would be a case of unlimited install space needed, right? Because we got games like Call of Duty and other games that are like 100, 200 gigs installed. Consoles don't seem to limit install space for games near as much as they limit space for save games and mods for those same games. So on a console, there's always trade-offs. Do I want to download this map? Do I want to download this mod? Because I might have to remove something in order to get something new. PC, we don't have to care. I got a 4 terabyte drive for my mods. I don't really care. Jeffrey, so this is my take on all things. Is it worth it? I can't tell you if it's worth it for you. Okay? What I can do, and I can attempt to show it off as best as possible so that you can make an informed decision as to if you feel it's worth it for you. I think it's really interesting. I think it's really neat. I think if you're a player that uses big machinery, that likes to play on big maps with big fields, you already are inclined to go big, then I think this would be good, probably, for you. If you're someone that likes to play small, no, obviously this isn't going to be for you. It's going to be far more useful than some of the DLCs we saw in 22, I think. But in the end, it really is it going to be worth it to you? And I'd say go check my first look video that I published earlier. It's about 40 some minutes. It runs through basically connecting these things. It runs through using each and every one of these modules. And we're going to try to cover most of those tonight. Tonight I want to cover all 3 base maps just to prove and just to show that you don't need a giant 4X map. You don't need huge fields in order to use this thing. This thing is pretty agile. It's pretty mobile. It has a pretty decent turning radius for the size of machine it is. And as such, we were able to navigate the town on Riverbend Springs. We were able to go across the river on a ferry. We were able to make her wind her way up to another field on the other side of the map. This map is pretty easy to get around on because the shop's right here, right? But we were able to easily wind around here. We didn't have to turn off traffic in order to get to this field. We could probably navigate some of these corners in town without too much of a hassle. We could probably wind our way up. I don't think we could do this road, but we could probably wind our way up through some of these mountainside roads without too much of a hassle. Right, so the concept is, let's show this. Morgan, thank you for the sub. And I want to apologize for my little rant there. I can get a little worked up. Alright, so here's the NEXAT pack and how things connect. So everything connects to the carrier module. We don't have the carrier vehicle, I guess I should say. Right? So everything attaches to the carrier vehicle, which is right here. Right? We need the carrier vehicle to do everything. Once we have the carrier vehicle, then we can connect the sprayer to the carrier vehicle. Has a 56 meter spray width. It'll do liquid fertilizer and herbicide, right? So you can spray your fields, spray your weeds. Has like 20,000 liter capacity on that. It's something crazy. What we're using right now is the slurry module and the cultivator distributor. So we're able to fertilize our field with slurry or digestate and cultivate with this module. So the way it works is our carrier module would connect to the slurry, and the slurry would connect to the distribution. We can seed or we can plant with this unit. So the carrier module would connect to the seed hopper, and then it would connect to a planter or a seeder. Okay? And then below that, the seed hopper can also connect to a carrier NX disc harrow cultivator. Or we could also connect the cultivator and the seeder to the seed hopper to the carrier vehicle, or the cultivator, the planter to the seed hopper to the carrier vehicle. Right? So we could cultivate and plant, cultivate and seed. One pass. The seed hopper also holds fertilizer. So we could cultivate, seed, fertilize, all in one pass. Then we have a Chop Star Max. So that's our hoe. That's a weeder. So it connects to the seed hopper, which connects to the carrier vehicle. And then we have a harvest module, which connects to one of two Gearinghoff headers. One does corn and sunflowers. One does your grains for harvest. And that's basically the pack. So you can harvest your grains, your cereal crops, your corn, your sunflowers, all of your grains. You can lay down a swath, 2 swaths actually. You can fertilize with this and cultivate, what we see right here with our slurry module, or you could fertilize, cultivate, and seed, or fertilize, cultivate, and plant with the seed hopper, cultivator, and seeder or planter. Then you could come back and weed with the seed tanker and the weeder. Then you could come back with the sprayer and do your second fertilization if you needed to. And then you come back with your harvest module and your header and harvest, and then start it all over again. So the auger is on the left side, the same side as your, so right here in the back. So this swings out. There's your auger. Your driver would be over here. So it's the left side of the vehicle if you're facing the rear. That's where the auger is. All right, let's find something that needs spraying. Let's spray field 2. Okay, so just for the sake of time, we're going to buy the sprayer module. We're going to buy the carrier. gonna get lined up. We're gonna shift modes. Notice how the cab swings out of the way on its own. I'm not doing that. Alright, let's unfold this thing. Alright, Jeffrey, so here's the year one season pass. So we have the NEXAT Pack coming to the year one season pass on Tuesday the 11th. That's the first pack in the season pass. We know nothing about what comes in Pack 2, other than it's a hint. Performance on the plains and prairies. The NEXAT Pack's hint was innovative machinery. Okay? And then we have the third pack, which is Stars Align. That's in the Q3. Okay? Who knows what that could be? And then we have in Q4 a map, an expansion. It looks an awful lot like a UK map, an Irish map, Scottish map, something in that general locality. What could be included there as far as vehicles and machinery? I don't know. At the National Farm Machine Show, I was talking with a guy from McHale, and I was like, it'd be really nice if you were in the game. And he was either playing coy, or he really didn't know anything about it. But, you know, McHale in Q4 would be really cool. I think lots of people would like to see that. We'll just have to wait and see. But that's what's included in the Year 1 Season Pass. 3 packs, 1 per quarter. And then the expansion in Q4, probably around the anniversary of Farm Sim 25's release. There's nothing wrong with waiting until you know everything that's available, other than the fact that you just won't have access to any of the packs. Typically, you're going to save, I think, up to 20% off the cost of the individual components by picking up the pack as a bundle. All right, so you can see we left some tram lines, right? The idea of this is, and it's demonstrated better in my first look video, is that when you seed or plant, you're not seeding or planting where your tires are. So you're going to end up with tram lines where you seed and plant. Okay? And as a result, when you spray, you're driving through those same lines. And when you harvest, you're driving again through those same lines. I think what we'll do tomorrow night is demonstrate the whole process from start to finish. So yeah, that's what I thought. I thought the same thing, Walter, when this pack was announced, because I mean, who really liked or thought the Antonio Carrillo pack was worth anything in 22? I mean, if I was a shill, I would say it was the best thing ever, but really, no. I mean, it was cool because grapes and olives were brand new, but it's like once you do grapes or olives once, it's like, okay, I'm done. I don't think anyone's really interested in doing it a lot. So this, I think, is going to have more interest than the Antonio Cardio pack, for example. I think we get the gist here, right? Let's see how this guy's doing. He's coming along well. Let's jump over to Sri Lanka. See if we can't find a cornfield or a sunflower field to harvest. I will just leave it all hooked up now. I mean, well, they weren't all that Giants fixed one problem with grapes and olives in 25, where it didn't matter if you seeded, fertilized, or if you fertilized or mulched or anything, because you got the same yield. I discovered that when I was doing my videos on those. But they fixed that. All right, let's find a field of corn. No, you can't tell me that's your only field of corn. All right, 34. Let's buy that. I have money. Don't you tell me I don't have money. And what's up, Walter? So if you're somebody that would, by de facto, buy the DLC to support Giants, regardless of what it is, then the season pass is guaranteed to be your better value. If you're a player that picks and chooses, right, they're only interested in buying the DLC that they're going to use, which is a fine strategy, right? Do you? It's your money. Then I would wait. It means you don't have access to the stuff until the end of the year. But I would wait because you don't know, right? These hints, right? Innovative machinery is the NEXAT pack, but innovative machinery could literally have been anything. Performance on the plains and prairies. What could that be? I don't know. The stars align. What the heck is the stars aligned? What's that got to do with farming? I don't know. I mean, it looks like a tire and dirt and a hill. And the prairies looks like, you know, it's Arizona. And I'll tell you from the farm production pack. From the farm production pack, I think Giants did some they took some gross liberties on their language with respect to the farm production pack. That it wasn't what we got delivered. Or nobody thought what we got delivered was what was promised. But if you go back and you read the language after you get it, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess. Like, you know, I could imagine where that would work and be what we really got. But in order to do that, you got to take some pretty big liberties with your language, right? So there's that. So I'd caution you, if you're somebody that's going to buy it no matter what, then go ahead and pick it up. If you'd rather wait and see, then wait and see. So again, what we did, we ordered our header first because that's the last thing we're going to connect. We ordered a harvest module because that's the first thing we're going to connect to our carrier vehicle, and then we bought our carrier vehicle. So we're going to drive up till we are about in line. We're going to hit X to change this over to work mode. So now we can drive sideways, which will be the new forward. We're going to connect. We're going to connect. And then we're going to hit X to fold this. Oh, no. We're going to change back to our carrier vehicle with G. We're going to hit X to fold this thing all back up. And there we go. So it took you, there's the pipe. It's a little pipe. It's a short, stubby pipe. What's up, Liz? I think it's just a little crazy how it steers. Mo's 38. What's up? What's up? You know what? We gotta take care of a little bit of business here. We gotta pay the bills, so to speak. So let me talk to you about our sponsor. Not a sponsor, a channel partner. That's the appropriate terminology. Our channel partner, Apex Gaming Computers. If you're looking to upgrade or get into PC gaming, we talked about in my little rant over on Hootan and Pantai about some of the downfalls of consoles with respect to limited storage space for mods and such. PC, we don't have that problem, right? 25% off site-wide using their winter savings. We've got 3 base configurations: Yeoman, Homesteader, and Rancher. $1,200 for the Homesteader. That's a Ryzen 5 5600 water cooled. We have 16 gigs of RAM, 4060 GPU, 1 terabyte NVMe drive, and of course you can add a secondary drive for mods and such. 750 watt power supply, so plenty of room to upgrade and expand your system in the future. We've got the Rancher 1919. We have the 9600X. We've got a 4070 Super, which is basically, turns out, that's a 5070, pretty much. Nobody wants a 5070. Get a 4070 Super, 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive, 750 watt power supply. Apex Gaming Computer, again, channel partner. Got a link to them down in the description below. So let's unfold this bad boy again. X. And then we're ready to go to our header, X. Header's doing a little bit of a shimmy. That's cool. Turn it on. Right, we got neat animations going on here. Belts, fans, shakers. Right, talked about we got 2 engines on this thing. We're gonna do steering assist. We're gonna do 1 headland. We're gonna ignore the headland. I tell you what, crazy boy, I wish I had some Jolly Ranchers. What's your favorite Jolly Rancher? I like red. Well, Douglas, I'm sure the 2070 Super is doing good. You're running at 1080p. I had a hankering for gummies when I was at the National Farm Show. So much I had to go to the store and get 2 bags. Black Forest gummies, those are some good things right there. But the reason I wanted to demonstrate tonight this pack on these 3 base maps is because I wanted to demonstrate that you don't need huge fields, wide roads, and big areas around the fields in order to navigate and use this pack. Big fields would be nice, right? Big open spaces are nice. Wide roads are nice, but they're not necessary. This thing's really agile. It's got a really impressive turning radius given how these wheels turn. That we can get to the end of the field here, we can swing it around. And we're gonna run into that pole. But other than that, we just whip her around here and make her way back down. Jeffrey, for what? For this, March 11th, so Tuesday. I'm still going to plan to do a launch party on Monday night. If it releases at midnight CET, then it will be available for folks to join in on a 16-player multiplayer server I'll set up, and we'll just have a heyday on something. Maybe the horse map, because, well, I don't think the I don't think that map I was on last week will be out. The AI does pretty good with the machine. I think the only thing that we've run across as partners with AI is the sprayer. The sprayer requires an offset if you're going to use hired help. But other than that, it works fine. Well, Jeffrey, if you do, I would appreciate using the affiliate link down in the description. I do get a little bit of a kickback on that. It helps move me to eventually being a gold partner. Right now we're a silver partner with Giants. Got a long way to go to get to gold, but that's okay. We'll get there eventually. Took me a year to go from bronze to silver. It'll probably take me 2 years to go from silver to gold, which is fine. The eShop's copy will work on any PC install of the pack or of the game. So that would be the Epic install, Steam install, digital download, Microsoft Store. I was surprised that some folks picked it up from the Microsoft Store myself. Apparently the mod folder for the Microsoft Store is in a completely different place. That was news to me. Jeffrey, no. If you pick it up on Steam, there's no way of tracking that, which is fine. If you prefer to get it on Steam, then please get it on Steam. Okay? Get it on your preferred platform. It's just that you could get it from the eShop and still install it on your Steam version. The only catch is you have to keep track of the Steam, not the Steam, you have to keep track of the Giants activation code if you ever need to reinstall it for any reason. So if you prefer to just buy things off Steam because Steam just automates everything and makes it easier, then that's fine. Right? That's fine. So there you go. We got this whole field done. How big is this field? 2 hectares, so not the biggest field, right? But we've got 23,000 liters worth of corn in our hopper now, and it's 71% full. It's fine, right? It's fine. The important thing is that you enjoy it. And everything, right? I mean, I've got 3 copies, I think. Right, I've got the eShop copy that Giants has shipped me for early access stuff. I have an eShop copy I bought for the server that we're going to use during launch parties. I've got the Steam copy I use on pretty much any other system that I have installed. And I bought the collector's edition, so I guess I got 4 copies of the game. Bought 3 of those 4. And I bought the year 1 season pass on Steam. So we got that going on too. So you can't fold this up with grain. You're gonna have to unload it before you can put it back in transport mode, road mode. So there's the little. It's almost a shame that we got a little stubby pipe here, but we don't need a huge pipe. And we can right mouse button, up and down to adjust the angle of the chute on the pipe, right? So let's get a tractor. Let's get a trailer. Douglas, maybe that's why they call them Long Johns. Maybe keep yourself a little warmer. Of course, if you're David, you're going to be talking about carrying around a stubby wearing your thongs. Crazy Boy, typically no. DLCs can't be modded because they are locked behind DRM. That's why it's maybe a little doubtful we'll see other attachments for this DLC because it's locked behind DRM. Right? The first opportunity we might see this be unlocked would be in whatever the next farm sim is, if this was part of the standard base game machinery at that time. And now that we've emptied our pipe, we can fold this thing back up. And head back off to the field. Can we fit through here? This is kind of the wide configuration with a header on it. No. No, we're too wide. All right, so what do you want to see next? What do you want to see? Do you want to see this on a mod map? Maybe an American mod map? In this mode, I don't think so. No, not in this mode. It's this way all the way. I mean, it's honestly, this is the only way you're going to be getting around these tight corners. There are 3 steering modes in work position. A 4-way steer is pretty much the only way you're going to be making some of these turns. There you go. All right, let's go and fire up the let's fire up that mod map we had the other day. I guess I can go under this bridge. Yep. There you go, look. Pretty straightforward. Alrighty, there it is. Turn you on. Wasaka County, Minnesota. We got big fields here. We got rolling hills on this map. Hopefully we'll be able to see how well the header conforms and other machinery conforms to the rolling hills of the fields. So I did finish harvest. I guess I parked. No, we didn't finish it. Well, we're gonna finish it. But the NEXAT. So let's get the NEXAT bought. Again, we're going to buy it in opposite order. So our header first. The harvest module. And then the carrier. Chad, yeah, we were showing this off last week. And no, it was Monday, right? Well, Mellow Rebel, not everything is really intended for everything. If you were in Farm Sim in FS17 when the big Bud Pack came out, that was clearly not going to work on lots of maps. Because the Big Bud 747 was massive, it was wide, lots of maps you couldn't get out of the shop with it, lots of maps you couldn't get driving down the road with it because of how big it was. So there is some level of needing to match the machinery to the size of map you're playing on. If you're playing on a European map with very tight, narrow roads, or a UK map with very tight, narrow roads, then you're probably not using machinery that's 15 meters wide to begin with. It was a live stream we did Monday, and I couldn't do a live stream on Wednesday because the horse map was released, and to be honest, I was putting together the first look for this. And then last night I was finishing the first look for this and just kind of chilled out a little bit. So tomorrow night we'll be playing on this map with the NEXAT, and we'll try to basically do everything on a field. Harvest, cultivate, fertilize, seed or plant, weed, spray, and harvest again. Douglas, I sourced this map from the map author. It's been submitted to the Mod Hub for release on all platforms. Sadly, it's not going to be released this week because it's Friday. It doesn't do rice. No. It might do long grain rice. Let's look. Long grain rice, yes. So it's up for testing. Hopefully we'll see it released next week. Whoa. So what's nice about this map is there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 farms, I think. Maybe 6 farms that you can pick from. Several big fields, and you'll see these fields are rolling. So there's a farm back there that we can pick from. Traffic on the map is a little bit brutal. Right, like that bus that just went by at like 80 miles an hour. Over here by field 33, there's a build site. It's like build out whatever you want. It's a standard map because it's going to be released on all platforms. Neo, I use both, honestly. I use keyboard steer and I use a wheel. For most of this live stream, I've been using a keyboard. So this would be the map I would want to be on for a launch party on Monday night, but if it's not released, then we can't do it, right? What do you think of the farming wheel? So typically if I'm in third person view, I use a keyboard. If I'm in this view, I'm using a wheel. unfold this bad boy. Now let's get back to work. We'll just do it the old-fashioned way because we're not lined up at all. So I'll be doing a map video on Missouri River Bottoms probably tomorrow. I haven't looked at it, but briefly. But I think I'll be doing a map video on that one tomorrow night. Or tomorrow sometime. So in this mode, we have 3 steering modes. We have rear steer, which causes the rear wheel to kick out, depending on which way we're turning. Then we have all wheel, which causes both wheels to kick out, depending on which way we're turning. And then we have the front wheel steer, which causes the front wheel to kick out, similar to rear wheel. Front wheel is a little weird. I kind of like all-wheel steer myself. What do you think of the side panel with the hoary stuff? Right, that's got the joystick, it's got the throttle, right? So we're just gonna swing this whole thing around. And merry way back across. So I might use field 12. 6 hectares. I mean, this field is what? This farmland is 19. The field is 14 and a half. Yeah, I think I'll use field 12, and tomorrow night we're going to do everything on field 12 with the NEXAT from start to finish, which will show off all of the pack. I thought the joystick on the Hori pack looked better than the joystick on the Logitech side panel. And I think if Hori sold the side panel independently, I think they would sell a lot of side panels. There we go. Lots of lights on this thing. Lots of lights on all the different modules. Well, Douglas, it all starts with, honestly, it all starts with signing up over at the Giants Developer Network, GDN. And from there, you can download Giants Editor. They've got lots of documentation there. And then it's watching YouTube videos, tutorials on napping, and putting a lot of time in, right? But if you were serious, that's how people get started. Is create an account over at Giants Development Network, and from there, right, it can open up a whole new world of creativity, of modding, mapping, tweaking, editing. Yeah, Neil, I kind of use both almost interchangeably, because I actually play in a driving rig, and I've got the keyboard in my lap. I got the wheel in front of me. I got the pedals, you know, down there. Well, I joked, Douglas, that if the folks from like Nebraska and all that came out west or came out east, they would get stimulus overload from having, you know, hills and mountains everywhere. From having nothing to look at to lots of things to look at. Well, yeah, because there's nothing to block your view. Our sunset is the sun falling over the mountain. Our sunrise is the sun coming up over the other mountain. Because we live in a valley. Thank you, Douglas, for becoming a farm boss. Thank you very much. I forgot to do this at the start of the stream, so we're going to do it here at the end. This video is brought to you by Toten Farmer and Bobby W. Thank you for being farm barons. So I'll be updating the... I need to update the credits. Typically I update them at the start of the month, and I didn't do it this month. So I need to be doing that over the weekend. So you should see your name pop in the credits. Maybe tomorrow night. But this will hold, right? The NEXAT will hold 32,500 liters worth of grain. The trailer we've got, where is it? Where is it? $40,000 liters, right? So this will hold nearly an entire semi load worth of grain. We're going to take this up and drop it off, complete this contract. Well, Douglas, I appreciate that. So now we'll jump over to wheel. We'll jump over to wheel driving. I take it there's a lot of gravel and dirt roads out west. Like here in the east, it's very rare you come across the gravel and dirt road unless you're way out. Way out. I totally paused there. That Wilson trailer is part of the map. So the map has custom trailers and trucks. This trailer and truck are actually not owned by us. They're just available for use on the map. There we go. What? Only 87%. How is this possible? Contract finished. There we go, 60K. Do look for a map guide on this video, on this map, once it does release. Like I said, this map is currently in testing with Giants for all platforms. Hopefully we'll see it released next week. I haven't heard anything from the map author as to if it was kicked out or anything. I know that there were 12 maps in testing earlier this week. I think we've seen 3 released out of those 12. So there are several maps still working their way through the testing process or the resubmit process. That's going to do us for tonight. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow night for some more NEXAT Pack gameplay, showing it off, answering questions, except we'll be on this map specifically, and we're going to work an entire field from harvest to harvest using the NEXAT Pack, kind of show you how the full system is intended to be used. Right? You've got until midnight CET March 11th to pre-order if you want to save a buck, or it becomes $9.99 after midnight, which is typically when Giants has released DLCs. It got a little sketchy toward the end of FS22, but we're gonna go on that it's gonna release at midnight. So we're gonna offer a multiplayer launch party also on Monday night, my time, because that's post midnight CET on the 11th. So anybody that has the DLC will be able to join me on a server. We're going to be using it on a big map with big fields, and I like to do that because I like to give you guys an opportunity to hear thoughts from fellow players as to what they think of the pack, right? Because there's always people out there that think that we're just shills. We'll say anything to get stuff for free. But you know what? Your own players, your own pals, fellow gamers, they're not going to steer you wrong as to what they think once they've had an opportunity to try it out. So until then, keep an eye on the channel. I'm going to probably drop a map video tomorrow about Missouri river bottoms, so keep an eye out for that. And until next time, happy farming.